My name is Mark, and I pastor BH1 Elim Church in Bournemouth. I'm 49 years old. I've been here about 6.5 years. I think there was probably about 15 people in the church when we came here, so we added a few more just by coming here, so probably about 20 people here. There used to be a minister in this church called Malcolm Duncan. We're going back over probably about 20 years ago. But when Malcolm was the minister here, this church was bursting at the seams. There were 200 odd people here. There were a lot of people in the church who were still sort of living on when Malcolm was here. I stood on my first Sunday and I said, I'm not here to fill Malcolm Duncan's shoes. I'm not here to be the next Malcolm Duncan. I'm here to do what God's called me to do for this season, for now, for today, and for tomorrow, and for as long as he calls me here. I always went to church from a very young age. My childhood was a little bit difficult because my dad wasn't a great character. We lived in Yorkshire. We literally kind of escaped, came down to Bournemouth to get away from him. When I was a teenager, my grandma had come down to live with us from Yorkshire, and she took me to another church in Bournemouth, and I'd never seen anything like it. It was a Pentecostal church, and there were guitars and drums, and people were happy. People were dancing and singing and clapping, and I thought they were all nuts. I really did. I genuinely thought there was something wrong with them. And I said to one of my mates, "You've got to come with me and see these nutcases," and he came with me, and we both ended up really just committing our lives to Jesus that day. Hasn't been an easy road since then. I've done lots of things wrong. I've messed up several times. I've really put my foot in it in a number of ways, which I won't go into. There are so many different types of things that I do. My role encompasses so many different aspects of life. On a Tuesday morning, there's a coffee morning. There's probably 20 people out there having coffee, having a chat, sharing life together. That, to me, is just as much church as Sunday mornings. On a Tuesday night, we have a youth Bible study, a Bible study time for young people. Again, they come together, they go through the Bible, they talk about the important stuff of life, things, issues and things that really matter and that can be confusing in today's age. That's as much church as a Sunday morning. On a Wednesday, we have house groups in the evening, so we meet together in each other's homes. We have a Bible study, we have time where we pray together, but we also have coffee and chat together. And again, it's being that family and it's communicating together, learning together, growing together. And that, again, Wednesdays is as much church as anything we do on a Sunday morning. On Fridays, we have toddler group in the morning. We can have usually anything from 20 to 25 parents, carers, mums, dads, grandmas, whatever it happens to be, with toddlers and babies. And it's an amazing time of community, of sharing together, supporting each other, just as much church as a Sunday. What we call BH1 Kitchen on a Friday afternoon, that's a free meal for people in the community who need it. We could have anything up to 45 people coming in and receiving a free meal on a Friday. And that's not a soup kitchen, it's just a way of people being able to come in and sit down and have fellowship, share together around a table, be family around a table, just as much church as a Sunday. We have our kids group on Friday, which is called Jam. That's for primary school age children. Again, just learning about the Bible and having fun, having games and crafts and all those things, just as much church as a Sunday. And then on Friday evening, we have our youth group. That's for sort of secondary school age kids and later teens as well. They just come together and have an amazing time where they can, have some fun, have a laugh and play games and things like that, but also really get into some discussion and share time, grow together. Again, just as much church as a Sunday. And then we come together, of course, on Sundays. That's kind of the day when all that stuff through the week comes together as I see it. And so, I love Sundays. It's great to be in a church where the congregation's growing and all of those things. But it's not just about the number of people that are sat on seats on a Sunday. It's about the lives that are being changed and affected and how this family of church here in Springbourne is growing and developing together. We would usually start, I would bring a welcome at the start of the service. I'll bring a Bible passage or a Bible verse and I'll pray and we'll get the service going. And we usually start, in quite a lively way. We'll have a fairly lively song to start with, get people moving around a bit, get people jumping up and down and clapping. And we'd usually have a a couple of songs. I'll then bring any notices that we need to bring for the week. If there's somebody in the church that wants to share something, or there's something relevant that needs to be shared from the congregation, what we call a testimony, something that somebody has happened in somebody's life, something that God has done, and they can come and share that. Church is very much inclusive. It's about everybody. It's not a spectator sport. It's everybody's included in church. Everybody has a part to play in church. Then we'd have more music. We'll have a sermon to give to the church what's on our heart. It's our teaching time for the week, really. I think really the church has grown, not just numerically, but as a family. We've grown together. I think Jam is which is our kids club on a Friday, is the only thing outside of Sunday morning services that was already going when I came to the church. Everything else that we've started has been started since I've been here. And we've also started things like a missions group. We're supporting missionaries through the Elim denomination in Africa. That's our kind of newest venture, but I'm always looking for how we can expand and grow, not just numerically, but in our sphere of influence in what we do. Always looking for how we can adapt and follow God's plan for us.